Hello, hello, hello. Uh-oh, this machine isn't muted. There it goes. Now it is. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all doing well. Looks like Mark is here. How you doing, Mark? Thanks for dropping in. We're gonna have some fun. Firstly, it's great to be back. I was away last week. Brought the family down to the shore, so that was really fun. But now I'm back, and I'm updated. I am updated. We're up to version 5. Hey, what's going on? Lulian? I'm gonna go with Lulian. How's it going? Actually, I can make that a little bit bigger. That makes things way easier if I just zoom in. So yeah, I was away last week, so that's why we didn't have any streams last week. I am back this week. We have one today that I do have to make a little short. I have some work stuff that I need to do. I have a call at 3:30 that I need to be on. Then I gotta go to a thing that I'm doing later this week, so I have to actually go there to do like a little site survey. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Dwayne's here. What's going on? DC is here. Nice. V5 is working great for me. That's awesome to hear. I'm happy that version 5. Oop, kick the table. Happy that version 5 is working for a lot of users. It's great to hear. I'm excited. I was messing with it a little bit last week, and that's when I actually updated and went to version 5 because I finished up a mix that was approved by the client. So that's awesome. That's going to go out to the mastering engineer soon, and that'll start a whole new message thread in case I need to do anything for that. But you know, one mix sent, minor revisions, sent the revisions, cool, approval, good to go. So let's talk about a couple things that, one, I'm excited about in version 5. 2, like I said, we do have to make it a little short today, which is fine. You know, people gotta work, including me, you know, and I don't get to only do this stuff. I do have other things that I need to do. So that's what we're doing. So let's switch over, and boom, here we go. Studio One Pro 5. As you can see, and I'm sure other people have already seen, it's updated a little bit. Not a heck of a lot, but it is updated. There's some new icons. There's new folders, obviously, because of shows. You have the show page now, and I'm not going to get into the show page today. I am excited for it because this will actually help me arrange things for my clients when we can go back out on the road and do that. So, you know, if I'm working with a solo artist, I can, if it's something that they need, I can help them arrange this into a show file for them that they can take on the road. And maybe they want to perform guitar and sing, but they want to trigger everything else from a show. I can help them set that up. And we're going to get into that eventually. But really today, what I want to show you is probably one of my favorite things that's come with version 5. I'm just going to open up this song here. Doesn't matter what song it is. Actually, all of these projects are still version 4 projects. But it doesn't matter. I'm just kind of showing some stuff, and I'm not going to save today. These are examples. While this is loading, and it's only taking a little bit to load because my machine is showing its age. Okay, so I don't need instruments. That can go away. One of my favorite things is this guy here. It's the Listen Bus. And I think this is brilliant. This is something that was available for like Cubase users, and I think it's great that we can now have this. Now, if you guys have been part of my streams in the past, you know that on just my main output, I put an instance of FabFilter, which has my room EQ curve correction on it, which actually I need to refine this again because I need to do some changes and make this a little better for me. Once I do that, though, as I said, in the past, I put it on my main output and I put it in the post because I wanted everything that was going through the main output to be corrected for my room. Makes a lot of sense, right? Cool. Now, in version 5 is the Listen Bus. And if you don't have it over here, all you have to do is open up the options and then down on bottom and enable the Listen Bus. You actually can also right click on any one of the channels and you have the same options here: enable Listen Bus and solo through Listen Bus. And we'll get into solo through Listen Bus in a bit. But just turning the Listen Bus on then puts this Listen Bus all the way to the right. And you can change if it's to the left or to the right of the main output. If you like having your main like all the way on the right, you can move the Listen Bus. That's cool. You know what? Let's just move it to here because it's fine. Okay, so one of the big things about using the listen bus is being able to put like room correction things onto the listen bus, and not even just room correction things. It can be like headphone correction. So I'm going to use the very well-known SonarWorks Reference 4. They have both a monitor version and a headphone version. And depending on what you're working on, if you're working in monitors or you're working in two different sets of monitors, you're working with monitors and headphones, there's lots of different things you can do, but this works very similarly to any other output, like the sub 1, which is the one that goes to you guys, or the main outputs. You can put inserts, and you can put post fader inserts as well. So inserts is a pre-fader thing, post is post fader, if you guys didn't know that already. So you can stack things. If I had multiple correction curves, and I'm just going to start adding in the one that I use, which is FabFilter, and I'm going to load in my correction. But see, I have two. This is my old correction from when I was actually facing, my room was the other way. That's what this first one is. So let's go and put that one in. Then I'm going to add another FabFilter, and I'm going to put number 2 on. Now, these are going in series. Correction 1 is going through correction 2. What's going on, Kyle? Thanks for stopping in. But you can stack these things on the listen bus. Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to. I hope you guys didn't hear like a big. And I'm just going to highlight this so that you guys can see. This is where we're working, and the yellow listen bus. Actually, not yellow. I have too many other yellow things going on. Whatever. This. Cool. Yeah, that. So what I can do is I can stack different corrections in here. If I had a correction curve for, now, my situation is interesting, and it's my situation. I have 2 sets of monitors. And then, I have a bunch of different headphones as well. And cables that are trying to tangle themselves underneath me. I can have different instances of whatever correction program I have going on. SonarWorks Reference 4. What were some of the other ones? Hang on. I think it's tone busters. Morphit. This one. Yeah, it's a demo, and I know it's a demo. That's fine. I can't. It's tone TB. I think it's tone busters. Tone boosters. This is cool. This is another. It's a free headphone correction. Oh, we got some stuff going on in the chat. Skmousy, gonna go with that. What's going on? Arc by IK Multimedia, another correction software that's out there. Hey guys, haven't upgraded V5 yet, as I thought it was an okay release, just not what I needed. V4 serves me just fine. Nick, that's totally cool. You don't have to update. Today's stream is talking about some of the things that I feel that some of the other guys haven't really touched on, but what I think are very cool features. Room EQ Wizard. Well, Room EQ Wizard, I don't know if they have a plugin. I don't think they do. That's just like analyzer software. Yeah, the IK tone boosters. Thank you. I just put SonarWorks on my final mix bus and use it when mixing, then just turn it off when I'm ready to export the mix. I don't see any advantage in using the mix bus. Well, here's the thing. The listen bus does not print the correction to the file. That's the big thing. Before, and the way that I had used to done it, those are words. The way I used to do it is a very similar thing. Like you, this is my main output, and in the post is my FabFilter. This is my correction curve. This isn't the one for you guys. This is one for me and my rooms and my Kali LP8s. That's it. So don't try and copy this. It's not going to work for you. I did the same thing though. And yes, it is easy enough to go in, turn this off, do your thing, print the mix, blah, 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 blah. But that's the whole thing of the listen bus. Actually, turn that one back off. Off. That's the whole thing with the listen bus, is I can put the correction on here now, and it will not imprint the correction curve onto the final file. Plus, like I said, you can stack your plugins. So if you have multiple sets of monitors with multiple EQ corrections, or what you can do is change your output. If you have an interface that has multiple outputs, and you can go in and change to just your headphones. Now I can throw my headphone correction onto the listen bus, and that's just feeding my headphones. It is not going to impart itself onto the final mix, and that is the huge thing. So I can show you guys my curves, I can show you the plugins, but you're not going to hear it. That's the thing, is this is only for the people who are in the room live. I could send this to you guys, but I would have to use your output, which is this one here. But this is, think of it like an isolated cue mix, an isolated headphone mix, or an isolated mix. That what I do with this doesn't happen, and it doesn't affect anybody else. That's the cool thing. Let's catch up. I used to do the same, but I got really annoying because I always forgot to turn it off. Yes, see, that's something that happens, and I've done it too. I sent a mix out that had my EQ curve on it, and they said, wow, there's some really weird stuff going on. And I was like, oh my God, I sent it with, my correction thing. Let me just redo it. And I mean, it wasn't a big deal because it was some friends of mine, so it was cool. Just the tool to feed Pro EQ. Yes, Kyle, like you're saying, you use Room EQ Wizard to analyze your room, and then you do something like that, or something like I've done in FabFilter, and you build your correction curves. You can do the same thing. There it goes. You can do the same thing in Pro EQ. I just like being able to do it in Pro EQ because, not that I really do it, it's still set to 0 latency, but if I wanted to make it like phase accurate, I could change this to natural phase or linear phase. So I have the option. That's why I chose to use Pro EQ 3. But you can absolutely make a room correction curve inside Pro EQ. It's this big mouse. I can never pinpoint things. How can I make a macro for automation? What kind of automation are you looking to do that you need a macro for? Because if you're looking to just do like fader rides or whatever, you just turn your channel into write mode. I have a video talking about the different modes of automation. So, or maybe you want touch, where something doesn't happen until you actually touch the faders, or click it with the mouse, something like that. So let me know, Schmousey, and that's what I'm gonna go with because I think that sounds funny. Lillian, DC, you can use the same output. I do it that way since my interface only has 2 outs, but DC says that output set up from the same place as the main outs under the song menu. So yes, this is, if we're talking about the different outputs, this is dependent on your I/O setup. So you do need to go into here. Hey, that's new too. Look at that. Used. I'm currently using inputs 1, but boom, there we go. The listen bus is active, and right now it shows that it's set to the headphones. Now I don't have it routed that way. Everything just goes through my mix bus. But if I had this set up where like the headphone out was something different, then my listen bus and the headphones on my interface, which is an Apollo Twin, would have these correction things going on for it. And really, this is what I think is a very, very handy feature of being able to throw those correction things on and then not worrying about it, not forgetting to turn it off before you export a mix, not forgetting to engage it if I'm switching between monitors. You guys may have seen me in live streams before. I have a correction curve for my LP8s, but I don't have a correction curve for my NS10s. Now I can go in, I can scan, I can make a correction curve for my NS10s, and then be able to have different presets or different different settings on different instances. Like you saw, this is room correction 2. This is room correction 1, and they are different because they're, like I said, they're different different presets. Ugh, I'm late, Michael. Oh man, that's detention. I mean, I got nothing. It's fine, man. You show up when you show up. Thanks for showing up, though. So I think this is huge. And that's just me. Now, that's also really cool because you have all the same things. If I want to be able to listen to the click track, I can turn that on right here. Now, right now it's going through my main outputs, but if I had this set up to like use different outputs of my interface and I had a mix going to the drummer or whatever, then he could get the click track and I don't have to listen to it because I can just turn it off from whatever bus I'm listening on. I'm looking to buy the Sonar Works and was curious how to use it on the Listen bus. That's exactly what we were talking about. You missed it, man. No, I'm kidding. So what you would do is you would go through the process of getting reference 4 set up in your room and working. And then what you could do is once you enable your Listen bus, which that's something we went over, I'm just going to recap it real quick. If you have your mixer open, you can click the wrench down on bottom, Listen bus, enable Listen bus. You can also just right click on any channel and then it's here as well, enable Listen bus and solo through Listen bus. It's just like check marks. So once you have your Listen bus enabled and you have it set to the output that you use, so I'm going to go back to mon left right, which is my main. You can see my main is set for monitor left right. But that's the cool thing about the Listen bus that we were talking about is I can set the Listen bus to be something else if that's like how my workflow or your workflow is set up. So if I had just a headphone correction, I can put headphone correction on here and only listen to it through the headphone bus. So we go back to here and it doesn't matter if it's in post and it doesn't matter if it's in inserts. When anything that's going through here, this bus acts just like any other output bus. The only thing is it doesn't impart those correction curves onto your file when you print it out because, and I'm just going to do like a mix down, it's looking for this output, not the Listen bus. The Listen bus is just to listen. And then sub 1, 2 is going to you guys, but that's like if you have, you know, a bunch of outboard gear and things like that, or maybe you're going to like a tape machine if you got something like that. So the Listen bus will not impart onto your final mix. So you don't have to remember to go in and turn off reference 4 because you don't want to imprint the correction onto your file. DC, awesome. I need to set that up with my headphone correction. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is one of my favorite things that they came out with. Now, is it the biggest thing in the planet? No, but it is very handy and it can be very powerful. So it doesn't matter if it's in post or in inserts. Let's see what else we got. So I need to worry about forgetting to turn off correction when exporting now. So no need to worry about. Correct. If you're using the Listen bus and putting correction stuff on there, you don't have to worry about turning it off because it's only doing that to what you're listening to. When you go and hit export, it's looking at what's happening on your main out. That's why when we went to export and your output, you see that Listen bus isn't available here. And the Listen bus doesn't actually route to the main output. It just plays the audio through that. Okay? This is standalone Listen bus turning it on. Okay? Now, we should talk about soloing when you have the Listen bus enabled. Without having solo through Listen bus on, anytime you solo, and let me just find something real quick where clear those solos. Let's just go to the bass, and then we'll go over here. Actually, let's not do the bass. Let's do like some guitars or something. Okay, so the guitars are soloed right now. They are going through my Listen bus, and I'm actually going to turn my correction curve on. This way, in my room, it's going to be corrected for me, but it's not going to affect you guys. This is the same thing like we had before on my main outs, where you can see that it's sitting here in post. I could put this here if I wanted to. It wouldn't matter. Now I have 2 instances happening right now, but again, this doesn't matter when you're doing correction stuff. So we're listening here. I do not have solo through Listen bus on. And if I hit play, you can see on all of my outputs, the signal was going there. Oh, there's some stuff going on. Let's catch up real quick. Yeah, did all of that. Okay, Lillian. To be honest, Listen bus was the most exciting feature. Those though mix scenes is too. I need to dive into mix scenes a little bit more. I think mix scenes can be very good if you're doing something like, it was 2 weeks ago at this point, somebody was on stream doing asking about like House of Worship stuff when we're live streaming that. I think mix scenes can be very powerful for that. And it can also be very powerful. I have to see the integration between mix scenes and show page and being able to do that. I think within the shows you can change like balances, or excuse me, in different songs in the set on the show page you can do different balances, and that makes sense. But mix scenes seems very cool. Just like I'm sure everybody saw in some of Joe Gilder's videos. You do a thing, you make a new scene, you really mess stuff up, you can always go back. Now, the way we used to do it is just like, okay, well, this might be mix version 1. And then, when I come back tomorrow, I might save a new version called mix version 1.5 or 2 or whatever it is. And that's kind of the way you used to do it. You're like, okay, I really took a step backwards. Let me go back to mix version 1 and that save file, and I'll pick it up from there. Where now I can just have the one save file and different mix scenes. You have to kind of see how that works with your workflow. Mojardin, what's going on? Thanks for coming in, hanging out. But yes, this is one of my favorite things, is the listen bus. Going back to solo. There's stuff going on here. It's also nice to compare 2 mixes you've done and choose the best with just one click. Yes, it's very handy if you like very easily jump back and forth. It's definitely handy. Vodka? No. Hydro homies. No, just water. Okay, solo through listen bus. This is a different part of the listen bus. We're in regular solo now, and this is different from solo isolation, also known as solo in place. So for anybody that doesn't remember, I don't have anything going on right now. Actually I do. This drum room, it's got some reverb stuff on it, but if I clear my solos, you can see it's got the highlighted green S. That means like if I was going to solo my drums and I had some reverb or stuff going on, it would still send to here even though I don't have this button soloed, right? So let's just jump back over and solo all of my drums. If they were sending to this bus and I had something on, I would hear that as well because it's solo safe. If this wasn't on, it would be muted just like every other channel is because it's not safe. It's not being told if this is soloed, I want to listen to it. Get rid of the bass. Go back to all of my guitars. Let's catch up again real quick. What do you think about the feature that shows the waveform when you gain stage? I'm gonna get into that. Maybe a little bit today, probably not too much, because like I said, I do have to make this a short stream today. I got about 15-20 minutes that I can play with from right now. So we might just do this later in the week where we really get into the gain envelopes. We might be able to touch into a little bit today. I think it's awesome that it's in there though, and that you're able to go in, and that it's very, very powerful, very handy. I can see myself using it a fair amount, especially like when I'm going in and adjusting vocals and doing stuff like that. Now, you guys might remember in my workflow when I get vocals to mix, I normalize and minus, that's my macro, is normalize and peaks -3. Now I can even go in after the fact, and maybe there was like this heavily compressed this breath in that, or maybe not enough of that breath. That's kind of a creative choice as well, is I can go in and say, okay, well, just this little breath, whoosh, I want to bring you down a little with a nice little logarithmic curve coming back to what the vocal actually is. What's your main role in the music industry? Mix, master, producer, record engineer. Mojardin, I am a tracking engineer and a mixing engineer. I can master. I choose not to because I have a lot of friends who are way better at it than I am. So I am a mix engineer, but I'm also a recording tracking engineer. I really like the recording process because that is so much, that imparts so much on everything that comes after it. And it's just as creative, in my opinion, as the mixing process is. So, you know, there's guys out there and they're guitar players, and that's what they do. But what you do on, let's say, a guitar versus what I do with the microphones to record that guitar versus what I do to take those microphones that have been recorded and then mix them is just as much a performance, in my opinion, as playing the guitar itself. And I think that that is huge, and that's what I really like. I like the tracking. Yes, it can be repetitive, it can be a little monotonous, it can be boring at times, but when you have a bunch of good players, or not even a bunch of good players, a really good song and a really good hang, it's a lot of fun. And it just makes mixing that much easier and fun as well. So that's what I enjoy doing. That's why I do what I do. Tracking engineer, what's that? It's a recording engineer. That's the guy that puts the audio on tracks. So recording, so I label myself as a recording and mixing engineer. I am able to do other stuff like mastering. I'm able to produce. I mean, you guys have been here when we wrote the song on stream together. Same thing. Yeah, okay. So like I'm able to produce, and when I work with clients as the recording engineer and the mixing engineer, it's part producing as well. Generally speaking, I work with like bands, like rock bands. So most of the songs are already written, but maybe some things need to change. We call it recording engineer here. Yeah, it's the same thing. LJ, how much for some templates? What are you looking for, man? Just reach out to me. Send me an email, info@timflansbaum.com. I can put that into chat real quick. info@timflansbaum.com. Email me there and let me know what you're looking for. Now, here's the thing. I was actually talking to somebody today. Templates are a good starting point. And this was something that the guy I was talking to, not that he didn't get, it's just he was trying to understand a little bit better. I got ice. I grabbed ice. Still good. Don't worry about that. Templates are definitely a great starting point, but if I make a template based on a vocal that, and I'm going to use vocal as an example, if I make a template based on a vocal that has been normalized with peaks at -3, but you don't do that in your workflow, then the template might be off a little. It'll still get you there, but you then need to manipulate those settings to have it work for your song. And even though it might be the same voice, and again, I'm using voice in this example, if it's the same person, the same voice, the song is different each time. So the EQ might need to change slightly. Or the compressor might need to change. Maybe the style of compressor. If on the template I make something with like an 1176 on there, but you need to do something to change the compression style, and it'd be better suited with something like an opto compressor, like the Tube or an LA2A kind of thing, then you need to make those decisions and change that on the fly. It can't just be slap this thing on, hit print, and go. Your job is done. That's not what my job is. My job is listening and making choices based on what I hear. That's what a mix engineer does. So templates are definitely good. They're great, especially when you're a mixing engineer and you get these tracks and I can say, okay, cool, here's all my drums, here's my basses, here's my guitars, blah, 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 blah. Here's all my favorite stuff, and I can make it happen fast. But then I still need to go in and refine things. I still need to make sure that the attack and release times are correct, that, maybe I want to use this new reverb. Maybe I want to do, like, limiting on my vocal instead of just compression, or I don't want to do limiting, etc., etc., etc. You need to make those choices. It's not as easy as just templates. Templates are definitely good. They will get you there. It's just like presets. Presets are really good. But you need to also go in and adjust, even if it's just a little. So, but definitely reach out to me. I'm really good when it comes to recording, but only when it comes to artists, not bands and instruments. And Mojadent, that just comes with experience. You have to just actually work with them and have this repetitive thing to be able to learn all of that. Oh, Liam, is that you? I don't mean to like. I was talking to you earlier today. That's the whole thing, man. I'm pretty sure that's you. I'm trying to find a vocal rap template. Yeah, we can make one for you. Definitely reach out to me. Shoot me an email. We can work together and create something to get you going. But like we were talking in your track, you have to listen to everything and find those balances. In the one you sent me, you were a bit on top. And I told you that. I was like, hey man, you know, you can hear the verse or the chorus vocalist blended into the track, but yours was way on top. We can definitely work together, try and figure something out with you. But there's it'll be a good starting point. That's what I said. Kiropad, what's the difference between Studio One Artist and Pro? Any ideas? So there are some differences, yes. Now, because we're working in version 5 today, let's talk about 5. Because in the past, when we were talking about like Studio One 4, Artist versus Pro, there was a lot of things that Pro had that Artist didn't. But when we're talking in version 5 these days, one of the big things is the ability to have, and I gotta move my face real quick. Whee! Over here is fine. All right, and then I'm back over here. When I go into browse, and let's say I go into instruments, in Artist, you don't have multi-instruments. This is something that just the Pro users have, especially for what just came out today. What was it called? Hang on, I gotta look it up. Deep Space? Oh goodness. I'm gonna get yelled at because I don't remember. Not that I'm gonna get yelled at. Deep Flight 1. Deep Flight 1 for all Presonus Sphere members is in your account. It's good to go. I've seen a couple of people saying like, hey, you have to purchase. I think that's just like some logistic stuff that needs to happen on the Presonus side. But Deep Flight 1 is now in your Presonus Sphere accounts. That uses and utilizes, however you want to say that, whichever word you want to go with, it utilizes multi-instruments. And this is one of the things of Studio One version 5, Artist versus Pro. This is the difference. In Pro, which if you're a Presonus Sphere member, you get, you have the ability of like multi-instruments. I didn't download Deep Flight 1 yet because it came out today, and I've been working on other stuff and a million other things going on. But like, I mean, maybe let's just start like a new song real quick. Multi. Boom, there we go. I'm just gonna drag this in real quick, and you can see it's already building up a multi-instrument where it's using MyTie and a preset within MyTie, and it's also using another instance of MyTie. So let's do this real quick. So you can see listen buses here. Add a bus. Mix. This is gonna send to you guys. And then I need to do my outputs and just make sure I don't kill you. And then, come on. It's just not listening to my thing right now. I just clicked that once, but this is a multi-instrument going on. If I turn off one of these MyTie, I'm going to turn the other one on. But these are multi-instruments. My face is on top of this again. Sorry, I'm going to slide over. Whoa, oh, goodness. Okay. I got to catch up with some of your guys' chat. But this is one of the big differences between Pro and Artist. Is Artist, and Gregor said this in the Presonus video about Deep Flight 1, if you purchase it as an add-on to get all of this stuff for version 5 Artist, it will still utilize everything, but it doesn't make these stacked multi-instruments. So that's one of the big differences between Artist and Pro. There are other there are other things as well, but that's like definitely one of the big ones. Okay, let's catch up a quick second. Modrin, and by the way, regarding Studio One, is there a way to render the waveform after applying inserts and sends to see how it looks like. Basically what you would have to do is like export that stem, and that will print all of your stuff for it. It's not like a fast way of, I think Adobe Audition does something like that where you can kind of render it real quick. The way to render it is you would either like export that stem and re-import it into the track itself, or if you're using event effects, and then you could just render that way. It'll show you like that. Then we got Nick talking to Liam. Best place to start is use S1 compressor as an insert to level off your rap vocal. I would not in EQ in the tracking stage. You'll be EQing at the mix stage. Maybe add a touch of verb. Yes, but again, you know, I think, I mean, this is something you can do, is you can put inserts on your inputs and commit those sounds. You guys can see everything that's going on here. Here's my voice. When you have the inputs here, and I put an insert, let's say I want to do Pro EQ, and here's Pro EQ too. Look at that. It's actually analyzing my voice right now. If I turn on a low cut, and then I record this, it commits that, and I can't get that stuff back. So that's just something to watch out for when you're tracking. So sometimes if you're starting out, you can just record raw, make sure you have plenty of headroom, and then throw your stuff on in the mix phase. So that, like, you know, if I had a track here, box, input 2, B, and then I'm just going to record. You can see it going here if this is recorded, which I'm going to, hey, 1, 2, how's everybody doing? So it's got recorded there. I can then go in and do something like a fat channel. And then, yeah, I do want to EQ it, but I don't want to EQ it with, let's say something like the Solar 69, because why not? And I can do some low cuts, and then I want to do a little shelf, and, you know, stuff like that, and then go from there, turn that on into, if we're doing rap vocals, maybe a FET compressor with a very slow attack, which is still really fast, and a very fast release to kind of glue it, compress it a bit, bring down the output, turn this on, 4 to 1 is fine, and you can see it's actually reacting now, but this isn't committing the sound. It's just like reacting to me talking. But if I play this back, which, I mean, hey. There it goes. hey, 1, 2, how's everybody doing? Okay, you heard all that happening. And everything was happening here. I didn't commit those sounds because I didn't put it on the input. So this is, if you're starting out, you know, start off with just the raw tracks going in. Make sure your gain on the way in, you're not clipping, because you can't undo that. You just have to redo the take and turn your gain down on the input stage. Physically input, not like on the, where is it? I don't know why this isn't on for default for me. Not on the input controls here, unless you're using an interface that this will digitally send the signal to the input. We're really going down a hole here. But honestly, just on your interface itself, if you're using something like an Audio Box 96, just the knob, make sure you're not getting any red lights. Just turn it down. You can turn things up later. And to a point where it's like loud, but not clipping. Let's catch up some more. LJ, have you ever been a Pro Tools user? Yes, still am, but not as my main. I use it for my day job where I use Pro Tools, and I came from Pro Tools. I learned on Pro Tools 6, and I still use Pro Tools, but I changed from, I think Pro Tools 11 was out, but I hadn't changed from 10. The last version that I have was, oh my goodness, I saw there's stuff over here in Twitch and I didn't answer it. I feel bad. I changed from Pro Tools 10 to Studio One version 2 and have been using Studio One as my main DAW for mixing and stuff like that since then. I still use Pro Tools to record for the day job, and when I'm working in other studios, like if I have to go outsource drums somewhere, maybe they use Pro Tools, so I definitely still use it. But yes, I know Pro Tools. I think it's good to know at least a little bit about Pro Tools in case you have to go work somewhere and they use Pro Tools. Then I can take the files, bring them home, put them in the Studio One. Job done. Let's see, Nick was talking to Marjodin. You can use the render to audio tracks. Yes, that also works. I do it like that. Shh. And then Kiro said thanks. Yeah, so Kiro Pad, that was one of like the main things between artist and pro. There are differences as well, but what you can do, hey, look at that, it's my Sphere site, is you can just go to compare Studio One V5, and then you can go here, and it will show you the differences between Studio One Artist and Pro and what's available. So like something like here, chord track and harmonic editing, not available in Artist, available in Pro. Pro obviously is going to have everything that's available within Studio One. Artist is going to have some restrictions. Extended effects chains is not available. The listen bus, not available in Artist, only in Pro. But if you're a Presonus Sphere member, you already have Presonus Studio One 5. So mix engine effects, so things like make sure my face isn't over it, you know, CTC1 or console shaper, things like this. These are not available in Artist. So just go here, you can just do a Google search like you saw real quick, compare versions Studio One 5. I don't recall, I think Studio One V5 Prime isn't available yet. I think it's coming soon. Same thing with like a Studio One 5 demo. I believe those are still coming soon. I don't work for Presonus, don't quote me. But yeah, but you do still get a lot in the Artist version. Articulations and key switching, that's in. Aux channels, those are in. The new clip gain envelopes, that's available for everyone, even if you have Prime, if and when it's available. Folder tracks, event-based effects, Exchange, the Presonus Exchange, which is part of, here's the one in Sphere, but, you know, this one, where you can go in and get, hey, there's our boy Marcus, there he is. Being able to go in and seeing what other people have available to put in as, you know, here's his color scheme. That's awesome. A manual de-esser. He's got his own sound set. So you can go into Exchange and download different like presets and stuff. And actually, I'm going to start working on some to make available for you guys as well. LJ, Liam, like you were saying before, I can make like effects chains using the stock stuff to kind of get you going. But you do have to mess with it because, like I said, you know, one of my things is normalize and peaks at -3. And if that's how I'm going to build my stuff that goes into Exchange, you just kind of need to be able to go in and adjust things so that it works. Nick, Modrin, from memory, right-click on the audio event and select render to audio track. You know, let's go back. Let's see, right here, event, right? Right-click on the audio, right-click on the event, render, let's look for render. I'm looking. Could be audio. Reset gain envelope. Nope. I think it is in here. Transform to rendered audio. This is the one. I didn't click on the event itself. I clicked on the track. So if I do this, preserve real-time state, and you can choose to do a tail. Like if you have something with a reverb on there, you're going to want a tail on so that the reverb can like go out. But if I do this, beep, boop, boop, boom, it just did the compression and everything and rendered that. So you right-click on the track or like option click if you're on a Mac. So Control plus B, think bounce. Yeah. Transform to real-time audio, which is go back. So yeah, think bounce. So Control and B, that's a Mac. Excuse me, that's a PC shortcut. On mine, it's Option B, and then I actually set the. I'm gonna undo again. I set the transform back to real-time audio as Control and B. So on a Mac, it's Control and B. On a PC, you'll have, and again, this is a keyboard shortcut that I put in. You'll have to assign this yourself, but right-click or Option 2-finger click if you're on a trackpad. Holding down Option on a Mac and clicking. Oh, that's my reminder. Yo, there he is. Okay. LJ, I got your email. Thank you. That's another way that you can do it. Let's put this back. Undo again. Beep, boop, boop, boop. All right. So that's where we're going to have to say goodbye for today. I know we went over kind of a lot of stuff. We went over it kind of quickly as well. I feel bad for the Twitch user. I am so sorry. Charburger. Newbie question, what's the difference between inserts and sends? What's the difference between bus and effects? I'm hoping I can still answer that user's question. Or that they come back. I'm gonna come back to you guys because I saw the chat. I got told a lot of Pro Tools users are going to Studio One now. I think a lot of people are definitely more interested in it. Because of a few different things. There's the Presonus Sphere membership where it's a subscription thing, and that's cool. Or you can just buy Studio One outright. Presonus Sphere is not a requirement. Michael Johnson, Control and B is on PC. Is bounce selection when you get to highlight an event or events. So, yes. But bouncing will also do stuff like putting your crossfades into your file as well, where if you transform to rendered audio, it's still also kind of bouncing, but it takes all of your plugins and puts them on. Let's go back real quick. Let's just do it. So then, and it also removes those plugins because you've already imprinted that onto the track. So if I just go into the fat channel, let's go to the compressor and just slam this thing. And then we'll do it again. Boom. You can see it did it real quick. I think it even said that there was clipping, but this is an example. Who cares? I mean, honestly, you know what? Let's prevent some clipping. Let's go to here and turn the limiter on. Boom. No more clipping because I limited it, but it's now very consistent. Let's... Hey, 1, 2. How's it everybody doing? Oh my god, it's smashed to hell. But it's one way of doing things and committing those sounds. All right, let's go back here, answer a couple more questions, and then I do have to get going. Are Rode NT1 good microphones? Yes, they can be really good microphones. It depends on what's in front of it. Some people say that they can be a little harsh, but again, I think it's dependent on the source. So I think most microphones can be good microphones. It just depends on what is in front of. And that's one of the things of being like a recording engineer, is getting that experience of using different microphones in front of different things and finding out what works. There's a reason that like a 57 is like a go-to snare drum microphone or a go-to guitar microphone. It's through years and years and years of experience of knowing what to expect when you use that microphone in front of that source. Every person's voice sounds different. Right now I'm talking into a Rode microphone as well, but this is the NTG4 Plus. This is a shotgun microphone. And I think I sound okay through it. It sounds kind of like me. So yes, I think it can be a good microphone if you use it right and just know how to listen to what has been recorded with it. I don't think it's a bad microphone. I think bad microphones are real cheap ones that sound real cheap, but I don't think a Rode NT1 sounds real cheap. Or an NT1A, depending on which one you have. Nick, don't you wish you could just Control-Z your life? Sometimes. But also, I kind of live in a world, or like I live myself... Except for that, I make the choices that I made, and I don't want to undo it. That's what led me to be me. All the time. There's definitely times where I make mistakes, though, and I pay the price, but... The cheap MXL ran through an Art 2 preamp, and it sounded better than I expected. Yeah, the MXL 990s, the ones that you used to get as a combo from Guitar Center for $100, because you would get the 990 plus the 991, which is the pencil version of the same exact microphone. A lot of people said they sounded horrible, but again, I think it's dependent on what you put it in front of, what you put behind it, like the preamps and things like that. You'd be surprised. The 990 and 991, the Guitar Center special. Go in, pay, go in on Labor Day weekend, and in things like $75, you get 2 microphones. Boom, job done. But the 990s are actually really good donor bodies. If you're into microphone modding, you can go to something like microphoneparts.com and buy replacement bits and make that microphone sound totally different. So even get a used 990. It doesn't matter if it works or not. Replace all the guts in it. You got a pretty good sounding microphone. Oh, I see Nikki was here. Hang on. Oh, and Joel is here. Hang on. I got to catch up real quick, and I do have to go, unfortunately. I have a call in 10 minutes. Joel, I am getting SM7B now. Yeah, love those microphones. Want one for myself, and I'm going to get one soon. No more condenser for me. It just sounds noise smeary in my apartment. So that's the thing with condenser microphones, and why something like a condenser versus a dynamic microphone, which is what the SM7B is. Condensers can be very sensitive. They can hear everything that's going on. I don't know why I'm not seeing. I thought I saw some chat from Nikki. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Nikki, don't go away. Condenser microphones are very sensitive. They'll pick up a lot more room noise, kind of like how you're hearing a little bit more room noise with the shotgun microphone, actually, where a dynamic microphone is very directional and rejects a lot of that extra room noise. So if you're working in a small space, an SM7B is a really good choice. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm going to get one for in here as well. That ends with a lot of the stuff that I work on, where it's like heavier stuff. Nikki, you're still there. Okay, cool. I see it in like the little video preview that I have, but not in my chat, and I don't know why, but I see that you're here. Thanks for coming and hanging. Actually, Nikki, I'm going to send this in again. Here's my email, because we need to do some stuff. And this actually goes for everybody. I offer lessons. If you're interested in lessons, shoot me an email, and we can go from there. So they're one-on-one, tailored to what you want. But yeah, Nikki, send me a message. Last few things. SM7Bs, cool, killer. Smearing in my apartment. Yeah, so the SM7B will definitely help reject a lot of that room noise that you're getting in your apartment, Joel. Liam, got the Rode NT1 bundle kit myself, and the reason why I was asking was thinking of buying another mic. Again, the NT1... Sorry. The NT1, it can be a really good mic. If you know anyone near you that has something like an SM7B, I would try that as well. Even if you don't have somebody near you that has one, get one of these. Good old SM58. These things are great. This was my go-to mic for talking to you guys in all of my videos, was this 58. Then my friends at Rode sent me this shotgun, and I'm using that one now. But it's still right here. Joel said something else. The SMB needs amp 100%. Fat head or cloud lifters are cheap. Yes, the SM7B is very gain hungry. You do have to juice it a lot. But if you have a powerful enough preamp, you don't necessarily need a fat head or cloud lifter. Or the SE Electronics makes one as well. It's like a little dynamite, I think they call it. I can't remember. SM58, they're great. They don't like the 58 beta though. There are different microphones for those reasons. All right, we can really go off and be super nerdy about microphones and how they work and what you need and all that other stuff. But yes, LJ, reach out to some of your friends who are also artists and maybe have a home studio. See what they have. Borrow something for like a week and be like, hey man, can I trade you my NT1 for this for like a week? Let's just try stuff out. You know, work with people near you and see what's going on. Thanks everyone for dropping in. We're going to come back on Thursday. Same time, 2:30 Eastern Standard. And honestly, I don't know what we're going to do yet. Actually, no, I don't know what we're going to do yet. So let me know what you want to see, and we'll do some stuff on Thursday. We're going to have lots of fun. Schmousy, thanks for coming and dropping by. I think I've said your name different every single time I see it, but I appreciate you putting up with it, because you're awesome. All right. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. I will see you back here on Thursday. Again, you saw my email in the chat, or you can reach out to me on any one of the socials, which are right. I'm going to try and tap them here, right here. Reach out to me on any one of the socials. Send me an email if you're interested in working together, you want to get lessons, anything like that. Just send me a message, and I will talk to you guys as soon as I can, and I'll see you on Thursday. All right, have a great one, everyone.